Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Lily Reads. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about the Goodreads Choice Awards. Let me head over to Goodreads. I was not going to make an entire video on the Goodreads Choice Awards because I am on record saying that I do not care about the Goodreads Choice Awards. The Goodreads Choice Awards just doesn't mean that much to me. It's never meant anything to me. And now that I make content about books, I'm not going to make it mean more to me than it does. But I am always curious to see what is in it. But I don't really get in the weeds about why certain stuff is there, should certain stuff be there, because I really don't care. But I think this year, the Goodreads Choice Awards is a mess. And it's a mess in the worst way. It would be one thing if there was all types of discourse. This book is missing. Why isn't this book there? Where's the black people? It'd be one thing if there was something we could put our hands on and be like, oh, there's a lack of diversity. Oh, there's a lack of this. There's a lack of that. No, it's just boring. It's the worst type of mess. It's a boring mess. And that made me think about 2024 as a whole for reading. I don't know about you and your reading, but for me, of the 200 books I am probably going to read this year, maybe 20 of them came from this year. I did not read a lot of 2024 book releases. I'm going to go even further. I was not excited for a lot of 2024 book releases. I think there were like 5 books that came out this year that I was greatly excited about. And the books that I was excited about, they are not books that will ever be in the Goodreads Choice Awards, really. And what does that say about the Goodreads Choice Awards? That all they're going to do is give awards and nominations to the most popular books. And if you're not reading the most popular books, then you really have no reason to invest in the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I guess it's always been that way. I think there's actually a number that has to have been read of the book for it to even make it in the nominations. But these nominations are just bad. And it really shows that the write-in, they should bring back the write-in. I think in years like this where a lot of people are saying they haven't read any of the books, they don't want to read any of the books, this would be the perfect year to bring back the write-in. You see why the write-in is important, because some of these, I think there could be books that could be interesting, but they're just not here because a lot of people either haven't read them or maybe it's just not on the radar of the people of Goodreads. I do not know, but this is so boring. I've already looked through them. I've already watched other people's videos talking about the list. It's just boring. But I'm going to go through and we can talk about some of the books either I have read, I have owned, or don't want to. So the first one is fiction. And I'm going to be honest with you when it comes to fiction. I did not realize I had my pulse on the culture of 2024 fiction. I have read or heard about 90% of these books. So let's get on into them. In the first row, we have Ellen Hildebrand. Know the author. Don't want to read none of their books because look at the cover of Swan Song. No, want nothing to do with it, and I honestly haven't even heard of it. Then you have Colored Television. I think this book came out recently, or I recently saw it in my bookstore. I've seen Colored Television. It's one of those books that I'll get to at some point. I do think eventually in my reading years I will read Colored Television. It's just not something I want to read right now, but I do know of it. Now we have a Lewis Erdrich. I own a book by this author. It's that book with all the primary colors on it. But The Mighty Red, I had no clue this author was coming out with another book, and I have not heard of The Mighty Red. So those are 2 books I have not heard of in fiction. Then we have Blue Sisters, not to spoil an upcoming vlog, but I am currently reading Blue Sisters. This author wrote Frankenstein and Cleopatra, which I thought was an alright book. So yeah, I'm reading Blue Sisters as we speak. Leanne Morty here one moment. Apples Never Fall is my favorite Leanne Morty book. If you don't know who Leanne Morty is, think Big Little Lies, Leanne Morty. This is my book of the month book. So that's going to be coming in the mail, and I do want to read this book. So that is 2. Now we have Richard Powers, Playground. Know who Richard Powers is. Know nothing about this book. Then we have Same as It Ever Was by Claire Lombardo. I own this book, so I know about this book and I own it. Margot's Got Money Troubles. That is another book I will be reading this week, so I know about that. All Fours, I already read and I enjoyed it. Then you have Martyr. Martyr is a book that I'm waiting for Barnes & Noble to have their little sale or something so I can get it at a discount. I'm waiting on discounts on hardbacks, but Martyr is a book I want to read. Then you have Welcome to the Hyanam Dong Bookshop. I have so many books like this. I have so many books like this. I've heard of this book, but because I have so many books about bookshops and stuff that I just never get to, I'm not letting myself buy this book. So I am not buying this book. I am not reading this book until I read the ones I got. So this is maybe one day. Then you have I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. Don't think I've heard of it. It's another one of those women exhausted type of books because like she's like on the side of the desk falling out. Then you have a Tommy Orange, Wandering Stars. Never heard of it. Then you have Sally Rooney. Sally Rooney is one of those authors I think I'm going to die never reading. I just think that I'm putting her on those authors that I get you say I should, and that's why I'm not. I'm not reading the Sally Rooney book, which is Intermezzo. And anyways, the next we have Dolly Alderton, Good Material. I have read Good Material. Then you have Sandwich. I own Sandwich. Sandwich is actually one of the few books on my bookshelf that like has like I'm actually really interested to get to because I've heard horrible things about it. Then I've heard people saying it's the best thing to happen to literature. I am so curious. Then we have Greta and Val Dean. I checked this book out from the library so many times. I think I've checked this book out from the library 3 times and never read it anytime I got to it, but I've heard of it. Then you have The Wedding People. This was in Book of the Month. Thought about getting to it. I think of all of these books, The Wedding People will be the one more like everybody has probably heard of. Then you have Real Americans by Rachel Khong. I'm also reading this book this week. And then you have Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout. Seen that book at a bookstore. So I hate to tell you, don't call Kenya a literary fiction girl, but like I've heard of all of these books except for like 4 or 3. 4 or 3. And I was so proud of myself. I'm going to be honest. When I saw the fiction, I was like, okay, at least there's something Kenya knows. There is something Kenya knows. There is something Kenya is, you know, a little scholarly in. And then it's the fiction categories. But the thing about this category is I do not expect anybody on BookTube, definitely not on BookTok, to have read or heard of most of these books. This is not the type of books that people make content about. It's just simply not. These are literary fiction, adult books for adult people that are weird, strange. Like, I wouldn't even say weird and strange because, like, I saw, like, someone was talking about All Fours and, like, someone in their comments was like, yeah, I heard All Fours was, like, kind of weird. All Fours ain't that goddamn weird. There's a couple weird scenes in there, but it ain't that weird of a book. So I'm like, it's just, these books this is not what people of the internet, like our side of the internet, will gravitate to. But it's for me and the people that I watch, like the literary fiction girlies that I watch. This list is a pretty solid list. I'm not going to lie to you. But let's move on to something else. Historical fiction. I am not even going to go through all of these. I'm going to just tell you that James by Percival Everett should win. You guys, Percival Everett just lost the Booker Award, and I think that's kind of crazy, but I also do think Percival Everett was the only man nominated for the Booker Award, and the Booker Award has like made like a conscious effort to like gravitate away from just giving men the award. So the only man being nominated and then that man winning would kind of look crazy. But intersectionality, Percival Everett is black. So no, I did not, that's the reason why I did not expect Percival Everett to win, but Percival Everett should have won for James. Have I read James? No, but I'm definitely not I think Orbital is the book that won. This is a tangent, back to literary fiction. I'm not reading Orbital. Out of all of the Booker Prize shortlist, that was the most boring one. That looked the most boring. I haven't read it. But James should win this category. I have James. I'm going to read James really soon before the end of the year. Anything else in here? I feel like Home to Ben, Long Island has been shoved down our throats. I'm still not going to read it. Husbands and Lovers by Beatrice Williams is another book that's kind of been shoved down our throat that I'm not going to read. Then you have Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I should read a Sylvia Moreno Garcia, but every time Sylvia Moreno Garcia comes out with a book, it gets mixed reviews. Like a bunch of people love it and other people are just like, eh. And so I'm like, what do I need to be here for? Christina Hannah the Woman is a book I'm actually reading this week. It sounds like I'm reading a lot of books this week. It's just for a vlog. So I will end up reading Kristen Hannah's The Women. I hated Anita De Monte Laughs Last. So if I could like say worst book in here, it's that. It's by Zaxito Gonzalez. The book here that I would read if I had my hands on it is The Bullet Swallower. Just seems like good fun. So yeah, that's that on historical fiction. I don't hate historical fiction like some people do, but I also don't like gravitate toward. Now we have mystery or thriller. I am kind of shocked by some of these, but also kind of not. Let's go for it. The first one, the one I would be voting for if I was here, is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. You guys know I read The Mystery Guest earlier this year, and I really, really enjoyed myself. It was short, it was nice, it was cute. Next, we have two books I've never heard of. Then we have Riley Sager and his Payola. He's here even though nobody enjoyed Middle of the Night. Every time y'all collectively hate a Riley Sager book, I grow wings because, baby, Riley Sager is such a hack. And y'all gonna figure it out one day. Lucy Foley, Hack Alert. I don't even think Hack Alert. Has Lucy Foley wrote a single good book? If y'all stop pretending that the guest list is good, has Lucy Foley ever wrote a good book? Let's talk about it. Hack. First Lie Wins is another book that's been shoved down our throat, but like, have I really heard that many good things about it? I don't know. Another book that everybody in their mama is telling you to read is The God of the Woods. I'm actually currently reading this book, and like, I wouldn't vote for it. I wouldn't vote for it. The next thing we have is Richard Osman, We Solve Murders. I want to get this book. I am hoping that this book is nominated for Book of the Year at Book of the Month, so I can get it for free. So yeah, I actually want to read We Solve Murders. Another book that hopefully I can get my hands on at some point is All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. I do want to read that book. A book that a lot of people were reading in the spooky season was How to Solve Your Own Murder. I would also read that book. It seems like fun. A book like that can either go really, really right for me, like The Woman in the Library, 8 Perfect Murders, like kind of be a little bit campy and I really like it, or it can go way wrong, and I have many examples but can't think of one right now where it's just like this this book, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. It can go way wrong and like I don't like it at all and I find it cheesy and dumb, so I would like to see. Another book that has been shoved down our throat is The Teacher by Frida McFadden. Haven't heard a single person actually read it, but like everybody in their mama has like been like, ooh, like I've seen it everywhere. Another book that I expected more people to talk about because of their last book, but no one has. The last one, At the Wedding by Jason Ruckalak. He wrote Hidden Pictures, which I did not like. I would never pick this book up because I didn't like Hidden Pictures, and I don't like thrillers that take place at weddings. I don't like books like that, like secluded location, group of people. I'm assuming it's down that is not my thing. Other books I have not heard of. You have Rachel Hawkins. Rachel Hawkins has only wrote one book that I thought was fine, and then the rest I think are actually not good. Then you have Sarah Pekkanen. Sarah Pekkanen, by herself or with Greer Hendricks, puts out so many goddamn books. How is Sarah Pekkanen doing this? But I'll probably miss this one unless I can get it on discount. Sarah Pekkanen is one of those authors where like I should probably stop reading their books. I've only ever liked one, but I always think the next one might be the one. Then we have Laura Dave, The Night We Lost Him, and I'm not reading this book because the last Laura Dave book I read started off so good. It was one of the few times I was reading a mystery book and I was like, what the hell happened? And then it ended up being like nothing. And so like that pissed me off and it still has stayed with me. I have seen Home is Where the Bodies Are. I've seen the cover, but not my thing. So yeah, that's the mystery thriller. Have you read any of them except The God of the Woods or maybe the Riley Sager? I don't know. Boring. It's just boring. Like there's just nothing to say. Now let's talk about a real fucking disaster. The romance. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? I would vote for Funny Story because it's the only book here that I like thought was pretty good. But even that I don't love. Allie Hazelwood and her payola. You have Not in Love and Bride. 2 books I am not ever going to read. Not that I'm against Allie Hazelwood. If that young adult book Allie Hazelwood put out that they were playing like chess or something, if I found that at a discount store, I would actually read that book. I'm actually interested in that. I'm just not going out of my way for it. Then you have the Cinnabon bookstore, which is from that specific author that like they came up with that other book that people describe it as kind of Gilmore Girl-y. By the way, if you want me to not read a book, describe it as Gilmore Girls. I think that is like the laziest way to describe a book that people use nowadays. I love Gilmore Girls. I have loved Gilmore Girls my entire life. When it used to come on like ABC Family after school, my sister used to put it on. I've always loved Gilmore Girls, even before it got on Netflix. The thing is, I just don't like when people describe books as Gilmore Girls, because what does that mean? What does that truly mean? Anyways, then you have this other author that's always in the romance category, Liz Tom Ford. Ain't read. If you a romance girly, you know about these, but I just simply don't. Like, Kevin Kwan made it here. Has Kevin Kwan put out anything worth a damn since Crazy Rich Asians? What's it called? What's that series called? I read a Kevin Kwan book after that and hated it. I don't even love the Crazy Rich Asian series that much. Catherine Center has made it in here. Y'all love The Bodyguard. I thought The Bodyguard was fine. Christina and Lauren, they are here with Paradise Problem. I kind of can like a Christina and Lauren book, but the last Christina and Lauren book that I read, I wasn't in love with it. Abby Jimenez is going to win this, I think. Abby Jimenez is one of those authors that I need to read. I want to read. I have an Abby Jimenez book on my bookshelf. I can't find the time, and it's really not going to find the time because I don't really read romance anymore. So the books that I have read, I read Kennedy Ryan, and I read Tia Williams, and I read Emily Henry. What is the best book out of all of them? Crazy or Not, I actually put them all in the exact same 3.5 star range. So I actually give them all the same exact thing. It's just uninteresting. Romance is just at a very uninteresting thing. And are we seeing like a slight decline maybe in people's care towards reading? Like, if Book Talk, in the height of Book Talk, I think was last year. I think the height of Book Talk was last year. Are we just seeing the decline of people like really caring about new books being published and new stuff like that? Are people just moving on, and that's why it doesn't seem like any of these books are just like jumping off the page? I don't know. Romantasy has a category, and I am totally against it, so I'm not even going to pretend like I give a damn. Like, absolutely not. Like, no. We don't have a middle grade section, but we have Romantasy. In middle grade, Amari should be getting hers, but at the end of the day, who cares? You have Reader's Favorite Fantasy. Emily Wilde is the only book here that I've even like have on my bookshelf. Lee Bardugo with The Familiar. I heard of it. I heard The Foxwife wasn't good, but it's here. I didn't even know that came out this year. You have An Academy for Liars. It has its fans. It has its naysayers. Anyways, moving on. Then you have science fiction. I would feel like I would read some of these. Orbital is here. Orbital won the Booker Prize, and it is also here in science fiction. I don't really like books that have to do with space. The only book here that I would maybe read is Antibot and The Mystery of Time. Boring. Like, everything is boring. I'm sorry. 2024 was just a boring year for books. Like, who cares? Who cares? Like, Orbital even winning the Booker Prize is crazy. Like, who cares? Now we have horror. I pretend like I'm a horror fan, but in actuality, I am not. So you have The Angel of Indian Lake by Stephen Graham Jones. This is interesting because, number one, Stephen Graham Jones has 2 books here, which shows you, like, ain't nothing came out in 2024. I read My Heart is a Chainsaw, but I can't get my hands on the second book. So I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't want to buy it with my own money. I don't want to listen to it on audio. How do I get this book without having to spend money on it? So I don't know, but I do want to read the last book in the trilogy because I read the first book. But now I think I need to go back and read the first book before I go to the second book because I probably don't remember enough and I probably won't read until next year. And then I'll get to the third book. It just seems like a task. It seems like a task, and maybe I should just go ahead and buy them, so I'll do it. I don't know. I don't want to spend my money. Stephen King and his payola are in the building. We also have We Used to Live Here, which is a book I could possibly get to if I saw it at my library for free. I Was a Teenage Slasher by Steve Graham Jones is actually a book I do want to read. I read one T. Kingfisher book and decided I don't need to read another one, but good for people who do. Murder Road is a book I've heard nothing but negative things about. And anything else, you have A Sunny Place for Shady People. I've seen a lot of people get their hands on. Haven't heard what their opinions are. The Eyes Are the Best Part. I've seen. Whatever. Debut novel is actually one of my favorite categories because I like little niche categories. That's what this should be doing more of. But baby, I ain't heard of none of these except the ones I already told you about. Martyr, Greta, We Used to Live Here. How to End a Love Story is Yuling Kwang's first novel. Why do I feel like I heard about that author before? I made that up. None of these books I would read except the ones I told you I'd read. Anything else? That's another thing. I just feel like also with this Goodreads year, like either you're interested in the book already or you don't give a damn. Like I'm not convinced by none of these. Like nothing about the covers, the names. I don't want to read it. Like I'm not interested in any of this. I feel like that's another thing. We're all bunkering down right now. Even all the content creators that I watch, we are all bunkering down on what we like. If you are somebody who reads romance, you're bunkering down on romance. That's all you really want to read and care about. If you're someone who reads horror, you are bunkering down on horror. Let me read more horror. Someone like me, I am bunkering down on literary fiction. I just want to read literary fiction all day long. I don't care nothing else you got going on. Same with people who read science fiction. Same with people who read fantasy. Like we are all picking our sides, and I just think more and more we're now all coming together trying to dip and dabble because I don't care. I simply even I find myself not even if I'm watching someone's content and they have a video directly related to romance or directly related to this or that and I'm not interested in it, I still watch the content because some people I just like watching their content. I think they make good content, but I don't be looking to write down no books I want to read. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not going to go out of my way to read in a genre or pick up a book I wasn't already interested in it. I just think that's also something that's really happening with a lot of our reading. Either we're reading it and we wanted to read it, or we're just you can miss me with it. You can miss me. And that's what I feel like a lot of people looking at this categories are. Now we have best audiobook. I haven't read Ina Garten's book yet, but Ina Garten should win because I love me some Ina Garten. I haven't read none of these books on audio. I haven't read none of these books. I haven't read any of these books. Oh, I read Funny Story and I read it physically, so I can't tell you about that. I don't think I've ever read an Emily Henry book on audio. I'm moving away from audiobooks, and even more so in 2025, I'm moving away from audiobooks. So I'm just not really, in my audio thing. So then you have young adult fantasy. I don't care. Give it to the poison we drink, though. Do that. Young adult fiction, though. I did not know Icarus was young adult. Shocked the hell out of me. A book that I've seen everywhere, but I probably won't read myself is Where Sleeping Girls Lie, but wishing it all the best. The book here that I actually probably would read is The Death at Morning House. I can enjoy a young adult mystery every now and then. I do not care about nonfiction. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I haven't read none of them. Then you have favorite memoir. Ina Garten should win, of course, Mother, but also haven't read any of these. History and biography. You got it. And that's it. Just a snooze fest. Just a snooze fest all together. This Goodreads, no one cares. No one cares. So many people I know build content around the Goodreads category, and good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. Who wants to read any of this stuff? Except the stuff you've already read. I just don't see a lot of people wanting to reach towards any of this stuff. And that's no shade to any of the people in these categories. It's just I just think 2024 wasn't a good year for new releases. Or maybe we just don't care that much. I don't know. There just wasn't a lot of blockbuster hits this year when it comes to reading. And that happens. Maybe next year will be different. I don't know. But that is the end of this one. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.